Welcome to this explainer on life skills for grade 1. We're going to explore exactly how those totally ordinary everyday moments transform into truly profound lessons for our young learners. It's really about taking this gentle guide that literally turns the everyday world into a vibrant living classroom. And it shows us that a child's first discoveries, well, they might seem small, but they actually carry some incredible meaning.
So think about this for a second. Does learning only happen at a desk? It's so easy to think of school as just sitting down, right? Reading words or solving number problems. But actually, the most important lessons are happening when a child is just walking to school, greeting a neighbor, putting away their shoes, or honestly, just watching the clouds roll by. We're talking about real learning, way beyond the four walls of the classroom.
Okay, let's take a quick look at the agenda for our journey today. First up, we'll cover find, notice, and try. Then, school and new friends. Third, the living world. Fourth, home in the neighborhood. And finally, seasons of growth.
All right, diving right into Section 1, Find, Notice, and Try, the core framework of life skills. Now, learning is an active loop. Step 1 is simply to find, looking at the world with curious eyes. It's like finding a tiny green sprout right by the school gate. Step 2 is notice, and this is way deeper than just seeing. It's asking, wait, what is actually happening here? So a child might notice that the soil around that little sprout is super dry, and that observation naturally leads to Step 3, try. The child turns that learning into immediate action, maybe by trying to give that sprout some water.
And what's really fascinating here is the pace of that learning. Some children speak very quickly, while others just need a little more time. Some kids absolutely love getting up close and looking at insects. Others might feel a bit nervous around them and need to keep their distance. The absolutely crucial takeaway is that this framework completely respects each child's individual pace. Whether they jump right in head first or just take small, quiet little steps, their unique approach is perfectly okay. Learning starts with real experiences, and everyone processes reality at their own speed, right?
Moving on to Section 2, School and New Friends, Navigating those shared spaces.
Let's think about phrases like, I am angry, or I need help. For young children just entering first grade, feelings can be, well, huge. And socializing, it can get pretty messy. Anger and tears can spring up out of nowhere. So the key here is normalizing that messiness. We do this by giving children simple, incredibly powerful words so they can share those big feelings safely. Instead of acting out by grabbing or shouting, a child who learns to pause and use these simple words helps everyone, adults and their friends, understand exactly what they need in that moment.
Let's see how this actually applies to a real-world conflict. Picture two kids arguing over a toy. We've all seen it, right? It happens all the time. Step 1 is to stop and calm down because you really can't solve a problem while you're in a tug-of-war. Then, they use their words. One kid says, hey, I was using it first. The other replies, but I wanted to turn. The real magic, though, happens in Step 3, listening. Really listening shows the other person that their words actually matter. From there, they can say, I'm sorry, and hey, they're still stuck, they can always ask an adult. Making up doesn't always happen in an instant, but these mechanics show kids that friendships can bend without breaking.
Which brings us to Section 3, the living world. Here, nature becomes the teacher.
Let's look at the timeline of a plant's growth. We go from a seed to a sprout to growing leaves, forming a bud, and finally opening up into a flower. But why is this so important? Well, it takes this very abstract concept of patience and grounds it in reality. When a kid plants a seed, it honestly might look like absolutely nothing is happening for days. But the truth is, really important things are happening quietly right under the soil. Plants teach kids to wait, to watch, and to truly understand that growth, real growth, takes time.
There's a great concept to keep in mind. Care is not only doing tasks, care is paying attention. It's not just about, dumping food in a fish tank or mindlessly tossing water on a plant. It's about careful sensory observation. If a child finds a little pill bug and notices how its segmented body curls into this tight little ball the second it feels danger, that child is learning to respect its need for safety. They realize that even the smallest insect is out there living its own busy life. That kind of careful observation builds a deep, genuine respect for all life.
All right, Section 4 is home and the neighborhood, focusing on safety and community. It's fascinating how we can take everyday home chores and neighborhood exploring and combine them into a much bigger lesson on community. Think about it. Who prepares the food? Who actually cleans the streets? Just pause for a second and step into a child's mindset. Clean clothes don't just magically appear in the drawer. The streets aren't clean by accident. By asking these guiding questions, we spotlight the invisible labor of family members and community workers, the bakers, the bus drivers, the crossing guards, and when children start noticing this work, that is when they truly begin to understand gratitude.
And speaking of the community, we absolutely have to talk about safety, specifically a child's power to protect themselves. We're looking at noticing your surroundings, stopping before acting, speaking up, moving away from danger, and telling a trusted adult. The real game changer here is the shift in perspective. We aren't just giving them a list of traffic rules or telling them to avoid dangerous places out of fear. We are empowering them. If a place feels scary, or maybe someone is playing a little too roughly, a kid has the power to say, "Stop, please," or to simply walk away. Safety is really about knowing your body is important and that you have every right to seek help and make safe choices.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, Seasons of Growth, looking at the flow of time.
I just love the beautiful, almost poetic contrast between the seasons here. On one side, we have summer. It's full of active energy, bright heat, large leaves, fast growth. And then, on the other side, winter. It's all about quiet preparation, saving energy, hidden roots, bare branches. You see, a tree without leaves in the dead of winter isn't dead at all. It's just resting. It's saving up all that energy for the spring. It proves that rest, stillness, and preparation are absolutely vital parts of living. Not every single season is meant for fast growth, and honestly, that is such a beautiful lesson for young learners.
So let's look at how this builds into the flow of an entire year. Spring brings out those new buds and teaches lessons about beginnings. Summer brings strong light, showing us how to care for our very active bodies. Autumn brings falling leaves, teaching us about change and gratitude for the harvest. And winter? It brings frost, teaching us all about stillness and waiting. This entire flow drives home a really powerful message. A child's confidence and their skills grow slowly, step by step, perfectly mirroring the rhythms of the natural world.
Which brings us right to our final thought today. What small discovery will you and your child find, notice, and try today? The world immediately around us is just so incredibly full of life and learning. A small bud, a gentle greeting to a friend, or even just taking a safe step across the street, these are all profound life lessons. I really hope this explainer inspires you to step outside, use those curious eyes, and immediately apply these mindful lessons in your own daily lives. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of everyday discovery.